Let's talk about working with analytical clients. I have a fantastic question here. It says, any tips for a client who is analytical and non-visual for loss of appetite? My thoughts are control room to turn it up, asking him to think rather than imagine or visualize. Any tips or advice, greatly appreciated. I think this is a great question. So one of the really awesome things you're doing here, the power of the client's unconscious mind is always going to be vastly superior to any technique, protocol, modality, right? Any conscious conclusion we're bringing into the session for what that client needs to do to solve the problem. Their mind has the problem and the solution. So what you're doing that's really cool is you're thinking, well, how can I utilize the way this person normally operates to help them get where they want to go? That's very advanced. A lot of folks will see an analytical client and they'll think, okay, this person's analytical. So it's almost like they put them in a category over here and they go, here's all the ways I help people that are analytical, right? Here's the techniques, the scripts, the protocols, the modality, whatever they do for those types of folks. And then they have their non-analytical folks over here and they have some variants. They go, well, I work with them like this. When I'm talking about being client-centered and focused on the individual in front of you, working in an organic and natural way, that's not what I mean. I don't mean categorize people, because in this category of analytical people, there can be extreme variance. They're all different people, right? So we don't want to treat them all the same. So what's really important here, I think it's something you're really starting to pick up on here, is the individual in front of me. That's what matters. Their unconscious mind can solve this problem. Loss of appetite, which is the symptom, right? We want to investigate underneath that. And because this person's analytical, I typically find they're terrific. They're absolutely terrific at doing this type of thing. There's two different ways to leverage that I do pretty consistently. One is we use their analytic capacity to explore the problem. So the problem's, right? If they have a problem, presumably they had to go into trance to create it. That's kind of what Milton said, right? There's a misalignment between the conscious and unconscious mind. So just by going inward and examining their problem, they're going to start to elicit some trance. And because they're really sharp and clever with making distinctions, they can typically start to parse some stuff out. Now, a lot of it's going to be conscious fluff, a lot of it's going to be backwards rationalization. But as you become more adept at understanding what's unconscious communication versus conscious, this is easy. This is like, it's a blast. You get to have so much fun watching them have spontaneous insights. You know what to draw their attention to, or what to have them notice is probably a better way to put it. And as they become more aware of what they're noticing, they have stronger unconscious moments. It's pretty cool, bigger insights. I think a lot of times when you're doing this with folks, it can be quite frustrating if you're coming into the session from the standpoint of like conventional, traditional hypnotic phenomena. This is what you're trying to get to occur, because they might just bump in and out of trance rapidly. They might just have a moment and come back, and but that's not on them, right? That's not how they experience stuff. And even if you put them into like a shock induction or something, we're just kind of guessing that the context around the problem is still there. So we've got to work through it. Okay, so I'm kind of going on about exploring the nature of the problem and utilizing their analytical capacity to do so. The other strategy that is very effective is actually getting them to think in broader terms. Ask them more conceptually oriented questions. Explore the vastness of things. Find broader connections between ideas in their mind. They don't have to just be ideas, but right, like the nature of their problem, and you can ask them about a concept that they brought up earlier. This is fantastic because now you're starting to collapse realities. So like I said, I think these folks are absolutely fantastic to work with. They're all, again, folks, just because they're analytical, we don't want to treat them all the same. We just want to work with that individual. But if they have a real brightness to them like that, a real sharp mind like that, I think you're in for a treat. To the extent you don't come in there with, hey, I need them to have this phenomena or have to use this, why won't this technique work? If you're asking those types of questions, I think you're already setting yourself up to fail. And I think that's regardless of whether or not the client is analytical or something else. Ultimately, it's about responding to the person in front of you. And you're already starting to think in those terms, so I think you're going to be absolutely fantastic at all this stuff. That's great, regardless of the symptom And to the extent you continue to discover more and more technique, the experience is going to be a great guide for you here, I think. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, fire away. I can't thank you enough. These are just the best. I love answering these. So take care, everybody. Have a great day.